to find my name.
Hey, right there in front of you. Good to see you. I'm Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Okay, we are now joined by the head coach of the Wolfpack of NC State, Coach Keatts. Would you like to make an opening statement or go straight to questions?
Let's go straight to questions if you don't mind.
I'm good with that. Coach, first question is on your right here on the aisle.
Okay. Coach, Dan Wolken, USA Today. Why weren't you guys better this year?
I think we had our moments. And if you look at our team in different segments, you would say, man, they were good. We remember we started off the ACC season 5-1, and then I think we had a couple of rough spots. And it's weird. We brought in 8 different guys, and I think it took a little longer than I thought. We played well early, and then in between, I thought we were just okay. And then we kind of found our stride once we got into March a little bit. So it's weird. It's a good question, but like I said, we had some moments, and then we kind of turned it around. But when you look at, our 20-game schedule, every game that we lost, probably outside of 1 or 2, we were in it. And what we had to do is we had to clean up some of the things we didn't do well, and obviously we got better.
Yes, go ahead. What is it?
Do you think that in the current transfer environment that we might see more teams like yours that don't really get it all together until, the last possible minute?
Absolutely. I mean, you think about it, and here's a difference in my team last year and this year. We had a bunch of transfers the previous year, but we had an opportunity to play a foreign game, which gave us 10 practices. And when you get those 10 practices, they mean a lot in the summertime, and then to go over and play against some national teams and everything else, I think that really helped that team. But when you just start, when basketball starts and you got a bunch of new dudes, it takes a long time, and especially when it's from your guards. If you got returning guards, I think it makes a lot of difference. But in our situation, we lost to Quavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner, who both – that was 34 points a game for us, and so it took us a while to get to where we are.
Coach, next question will be on your right by the black curtain.
David Teal with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Kevin, you've got a center who looks like a left tackle, a point guard who is a lacrosse All-American, a forward who's fasting for Ramadan. Is this as unique a team as you've ever had, and how did it come together?
See, DJ Burns would think he's a tight end. You can't say left tackle. That's not right. It makes for a great story, and it does. I mean, when you look at, teams are in the Sweet 16, you always try to figure out how did they get here. Well, we got here because we're very unique. I want you to think about this. We've got a traditional, old-school, back-to-the-basket post guy who can score. Most teams don't have that. We're starting a point guard who is a legitimate point guard. Most teams have, kind of a combo guard as we've had in the past. And then we've got a lot of good pieces around it. And, we've got a 6'1" combo guard in DJ Horne who can really score the basketball. And so I think one of the things that's helped us out is because we're different, it's actually helped us. Like how often are you going to play against a post guy that's a lefty with a great touch that can really pass out the double team? And Michael O'Connor has become, a scorer. You look at him in the early games, you're like, man, he's just a passer, and his numbers don't support it. Give our assistant coaches a lot of credit. I think the development of some of these guys late in the year has really helped us become a good team and has gotten us to this point so far.
Okay, here in the middle, left side.
Hi, Coach. Scott Grodzki, CBS Milwaukee. You mentioned the importance of experience at guards. With Marquette, they have 2 who've been together for 3 years, and Cam Jones and Tyler Kolek. What kind of a challenge do they present?
Man, those guys are really good, and I'm trying to figure out which one's better. And I know that's not fair to them, but they complement each other in different ways. And both get to the left hand is really good and talented, and that's a major challenge for us because in order for us to have success, we've got to do a good job of controlling those guys. And they play extremely well. They play extremely well together. They're older. They understand they have played together, and that's something that you can't substitute. And so top of our scouting report is those 2 guys. But when I say that, Marquette is so much more than just the guard play. They've got good play all over the floor.
Okay, on the front row, left side.
Kyle Boone, CBS Sports. You guys lost 7 of your last 9 regular season games. I think it's fair to say probably on the hot seat entering kind of the postseason. You guys go on a crazy run, 5 wins, 5 days of the ACC tournament. What changed for you guys?
You know what changed? It's weird, and like I told you, it's so many great storylines. 7, what did you say, 7 of our last 8? 7 of our last 9, and now we won 7 of 7. And the crazy thing about it is every game that we have won of our 7 was elimination game. If we lose any of those games in the ACC, we don't go to the NCAA tournament. And then your 2 teams that get to the Sweet 16, you lose them, you go home. What changed? We got smarter. We got the same players who are playing with a little bit more confidence. But when we went back, and I start with the ACC, and we went back and we looked at every team that we lost to, it didn't have a lot to do with them. It was more about what we didn't do, understanding scouting reports. We had segments in each game where I thought if we played well enough, we would have won the game, but breakdowns and everything else. And so what we talked about going into the ACC tournament and this tournament is let's limit our mistakes and let's stay locked in. And a lot of them was, transition defense, ball screen coverage, things that you could clean up. Things that, you don't want to have major league problems where you just can't play. We didn't have that problem because we were good enough to win games. We had problems that you could solve. And honestly, to their credit, we grew up in scouting reports and our film work became better and they understood what we needed to do, not to beat ourselves.
Okay, again?
Boo Corrigan asked after the ACC tournament kind of what he saw in this team, following this team. He described it as unwavering. How would you describe this team and their resolve down the stretch of the season?
I haven't had time to really, reflect on what we've done, and because I'm so much in the moment of it. But I was sitting in the bed late last night after watching film, and I was like, man, we won 5 games in 5 days against 5 national champions. And, it was weird because we got stronger and better in each second half. And we looked like, one of the fresher teams. We looked like we'd had 2 or 3 days rest. This team just believes. The energy is high. We having fun. We talked about, going to both tournaments, the ACC and this tournament, and having a lot of fun. And we've been able to stay in the moment. And what I mean by that is we never look past the next opponent. And if we're fortunate enough to move on, we are. But, we talked about, being together, trusting. Our culture is what we call ART, A-R-T-T, accountability, relentless, toughness, and doing it together. And anytime that, in this stretch where we didn't feel like that we were providing our culture, we've talked about that. We've leaned on it. We've leaned in on it. And we've done a good job with it. So all of the heavy lifting has to go to those guys because they've helped made the switch, and, we just pull the right strings.
Okay, let's move on the right side of Coach here toward the front.
Back to the topic of transfers. A year ago at this time, you guys were home. You obviously made a lot of transfer moves. How do you feel with the portal being open at this time of year while you're focusing on the game and also trying to deal with that, knowing you have a lot of roster turnover coming? I
don't like it now. And I can't even say how I liked it last year because of the fact that we probably were recruiting. But I will say this. I do know that the portal has to open at some point. If I was a new coach taking a job somewhere else, I would love for the portal to be open right now. If I was at home, I would like for it to be open. I'm in the Sweet 16, so I hate that it's open. That being said, I think we have to get small windows. Maybe keep it open 2 or 3 days out of the week, and certain days may be closed. But I do think it's a little unfair for teams who have worked their butt off to get to a certain point. And they, for me, example, I got no choice. I love the recruiting part of it, but I've got to concentrate on Marquette. But any other time, I've got to get on the phone and try to figure out who can we replace, DJ Horne, DJ Burns, Casey Morsell, and I'm doing it right now. And so I don't like it at this moment. I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but right now I don't like it. So I wish there is a way we can look at it and try to figure out, is there another option for that?
A reminder to media on Zoom, if you have a question, please use the raise hand feature. Let's go in the back for our next question on the aisle.
Hi, Kevin. Adam Teicher from ESPN. What tells you that the team from the last couple of weeks, the one that's won 7 in a row, is really who you are and not the team that lost 7 of 9 ahead of that?
Well, I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can win 7 games in a row in college basketball if that's not your identity. And I think that's what tells us who we are. You know, I go back to it. Think about this now. You go into every game knowing that if you lose, that you're packing up and your season's over. You know, it's probably gonna be a long time since someone, goes in on a Tuesday in the ACC tournament and wins a championship on Saturday. I hope it is, because it's a fun experience, and hopefully someone else will be able to do that. The other part of it is, going into the tournament, we were a 10 seed in the ACC, NCAA, we were 11 seed, and if you watch us, we don't play like that. Our guys believe we don't look at numbers. We just believe that we earned the right to be here. A lot of teams, because of maybe the net, and also they're good teams, they're here, but we had to do it the old-fashioned way. We had to earn it. We had to go through our tournament, and it's almost like my days at UNCW. In order for me to go to the tournament, I had to win the CAA tournament, and we did it, and that was 3 days in a row. So I go back and look at it like to your question is, you just don't accidentally get hot and win 7 games in a row with the type of teams that you played. I think we've had in that stretch maybe 3 or 4 top 25 teams, maybe even top 10, and we responded well.
We will stay in the back on the right.
Hey, Coach, this is Lane Higgins from the Wall Street Journal. I've got 2 for you. The first one's quick, but what shoes did you bring to Dallas, and are you mixing it up?
No, not mixing it up. I got the same shoes that I wore, and I got some really shiny shoes. It's an honor to referees, so they know to give me good calls because we both got shiny shoes on. And to the Wall Street Journal, that's pretty good. I saw someone send me a picture or a screenshot of DJ Burns on the cover of it, or if it was a cover of the sport, I don't know what it was, but shout out to you guys for that.
Yeah, we wrote about DJ not too long ago, but kind of in that vein, that one thing I'm curious about is NC State is a proud program with a history of kind of going on these magical runs in the tournament before, and obviously the 1983 team probably stands out as being one of those teams that's just iconic in March Madness history. So is that something where you've been sort of educating this current team on the history of that, and have any of the players from that year reached out and tried to talk to the guys?
No, our players from 74 and 83, they have been on campus through my tenure, and including this year. And look, I can't say enough about them and what they pour into our players. They've been in practices. We've honored them, which we should. We should continue to do that. But anytime those guys are around, David Thompson, Monty Towel, everybody who's come through, they've done a good job. Even I get text messages from, Sidney Lowe, Thurl Bailey. Of course, Derek Wittenberg works there. They're so excited about what's happening, and they're always sharing their experience about 83 and, how great it was, and, the magical run. And I think our guys listen to that. They do. We try to focus on, being who we are now. It's a little bit different than when they went through, but it's certainly paying off for us.
Almost out of time for Coach. Any other questions? I don't think I see it. Okay, last question in the back.
Hi, Gary Horne with the Wolfpack Sports Network. You told me recently that the offensive improvement over the last 7 games has to do with caring and sharing. Can you break that down?
Oh, yeah. I think, when guys like Michael O'Connor has really helped our team, as a pure point guard, because what it's completely done is it's allowed everybody else to be themselves. DJ Horne, we need him to score the basketball. Casey Morsell, we need him to score the basketball. DJ Burns and Mo. And, when we get Michael in there, who is, starting to look for his offense a little bit more, but more of a pass-first guy, I think that's really helped. DJ Burns has helped. His ability to pass out of double teams. I mean, the guy may see more double teams than anybody I ever remember in recent history, and people are doing it different ways. They're trapping post to post, from guard to guard, guard to big, and he's finding people. So we have shared the basketball, and we went from taking good shots to great shots because of our ability to share the basketball. And I think that's really helped our team. And, when you get into any type of postseason, bad shots crush you. And in our situation, we haven't done that. These guys are completely played together, and they really have shared the basketball. So sharing is caring, and caring is sharing too.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. And,
Thanks, guys.
Good luck tomorrow. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
24 hours, maybe.
Is it 24 hours?
Something like that.
All right. See you. Thank you. Y'all be good. Thanks a lot.
Okay, the student athletes from North Carolina State will be here in just a bit. They have left their locker room and are heading toward our stage. In just a second. Okay, we are now joined by our three student athletes from NC State, DJ Horne, Casey Morsell, and DJ Burns. Questions for our three guys, please raise your hand. We'll bring the mic over, and this session will last for approximately 15 minutes. First question. Guys, I think we will have one on your left. On the front row will be our first question.
Kyle Boone with CBS Sports. You guys lost 7 of your last 9 regular season games. Go and win 5 games in 5 days of the ACC tournament. Now you guys are in the Sweet 16. What changed? What helped you guys turn things around here?
I'd say our defensive mentality. I think that we've been playing way more together. Teams aren't able to just drive our gaps like they were, and they aren't just able to straight line drive us like they were. I think that we've tightened up in that aspect for sure.
Yeah, I agree with DJ. I think another big key for us is that we're not beating ourselves. We're not our own worst enemy. We're clicking, but the defense is, one of our biggest priorities. But we're kind of holding teams to one shot, one and done, and just doing different things so that it makes it tough for the opponent.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. We're not beating ourselves, and the defensive intensity has increased, and I think that just plays into, the focus level and just the connectedness all together for our team and our program has just increased, and that's what translates to the wins.
And on the right side up front.
For all three of you, you all three transferred in at different times. What was the experience when you first got to NC State, and then as a transfer, how did that impact how you would welcome in the rest of you guys as you came in?
Let's start with DJ Horne and then move down the table.
I was, being from Raleigh, I was a little familiar with NC State, but, never in the program. But so coming here, I knew some of the guys in the program, so it felt a little bit better coming in from day one. But now that I'm here, I would say it feels a lot different, especially with all the recent success we found and everything. So I would say it's been great.
Casey?
I would say coming in to State, this is my 3rd year here, and when I first got to State, our season was very unsuccessful. We only had 4 wins in the conference, and I feel like after that season, we've just gotten better and better. Last year, having a tournament appearance, finishing 6th in the league, and then this year, advancing this far. So the fact that we've gotten better and better since I've been there, or since I've been in Raleigh, it's just it's been a great journey. It's been a roller coaster in terms of emotions, lots of ups and downs. But Raleigh is in a great position now that this is my last run.
DJ?
I'd say my experience when I first got here was a little different. I was playing behind Dusan, and it was my opportunity to be patient. When I first came here, I asked God to give me the opportunity to learn patience, and He put me right into it immediately when I came here. And I think that it's paid off now, but it was definitely a different experience from these guys coming in.
Reminder to media on Zoom, if you have a question, please utilize the raise hand feature. Next question here on your left, toward the middle.
Scott Grodsky, CBS Milwaukee. For DJ Burns, you guys have been outscoring opponents, I think, by 34 in the tournament so far, down in the paint. What kind of challenges do Oso Ighodaro and David Joplin present for you?
They're two guys who have the ability to shoot as well. Well, I don't forget how to pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try to do that and say something crazy. But they both bring a presence, being as tall as they are and as long as they are. They're really good at doing the things that they do. Like rolling and dunking the ball. The floaters in the middle. They got a lot of good players and they got a lot of good pieces together. But they're bigs. They kind of bring them together.
Okay, now here on the aisle.
Lily Zale, Fox 6 Milwaukee. Kind of going off that question for any of you guys, when you're looking at film of Marquette and watching games, just what kind of challenges do they present?
Casey, you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say they test your defensive awareness. They do so many actions. One of the different things they do is, they use the 5-man as a ball handler. They set screens, they cut, and, they do different things on the perimeter with the 5-man. So I feel like everyone's going to be, at some point, is going to guard the perimeter. And, it's going to be a lot of different actions and rotations that we kind of got to be aware for that they do.
Okay, toward the back.
Hey there, Lane Higgins from the Wall Street Journal. This is for all of y'all. I'm curious if any of you have any superstitions like your coach with the shoes that he's been wearing every game. Is there anything that you guys have been sticking to the last few games as you've been on this hot streak?
DJ Burns, why don't you start? We'll come back to DJ on this end.
Pretty simple for me. I just use the same playlist. I've added songs to it, but I've had the same playlist since high school that I listen to specifically before games.
I would say just before the games, I like to pray, so I keep that very consistent.
I think we skipped Casey. You want to respond?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do both. I got the same playlist, and I pray before every game, so that's pretty much what's been my routine.
Any other questions for the three guys we do? Toward the back, on the right side.
Skylar Dixon with the AP. DJ Burns, the tournament every year seems to create kind of fan favorites through personalities, and you've kind of exuded that on camera just looking from afar. Do you sense that at all, and do you feel like you are becoming a bit of a fan favorite? And kind of related to that, is any NIL opportunities come out of what you all have done so far in the tournament?
Yes, sir. I'm not going to speak on the NIL thing just because there's still some things that need to be, finalized before we speak out on it. But as far as the whole fan favorite thing, yeah, I've definitely noticed it. It's been kind of crazy, going from having almost zero media attention to a camera following you around all day is kind of been, it's been cool, but, I definitely noticed it. Hard to miss it.
Okay, here on the right.
Dan Wolken from USA Today. I'd like all three to comment on this, but when you're at the ACC tournament on Tuesday, you haven't had the season you wanted to have. I mean, does it really enter your mind that you could go on a run like this, or are you just kind of looking at, one game, trying to stay alive? How do you mentally process that when you're, down to that literal last chance to do something?
Let's start with DJ Horne and then go down the table.
Yeah, I just feel like we came into that tournament with new life. We knew that it was a new season basically for us to go in there and make something happen. And just looking back over our whole season, we knew that we were a good team, and a lot of the teams that we had in our path to get to where we wanted to get to, we battled with a lot of those teams, so we knew that we could compete and win those games.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. We went into this postseason with the approach that it's a new season. Even in our meeting before we went to DC, Keatts wrote on the board 0-0. He was like, every team is 0-0, and that was the mindset and the approach that we went down to DC with. And every game was its own championship. Literally, we didn't really look ahead. We never. Look past anyone, even 3-4 games in. It was until it's done, then we'll sit there and enjoy it. And that's the same approach we've had in this tournament.
And DJ.
I'd say, I thought we could do it the whole time. I mean, if you look back at the teams that we played to get to that point, Louisville, we played them and took Syracuse to some close games. We had already beaten and went to overtime with Virginia, close games for the most part against Duke. So we knew we could do it. It was just a matter of, doing the things that were necessary to get the job done. And then I think that we just kind of taken that momentum and kept it rolling.
Any other questions? Okay, we're approaching the end of this session. We'll go on the right toward the back.
Casey, following up on that, how do you think that mentality that you've had to carry since then helps now that the stakes are quite a bit bigger?
I would say just don't change. I feel like we've been in so many positions. We've been tested so many times throughout this run that, it's been easy for guys to kind of fold and, go or fall into the pressure. And it hasn't happened. And, we just, whatever teams or whatever happens, or even on the outside, we just got to kind of keep that same connection for the rest of this tournament.
Okay, the last question will go in the back in front of the TV camera.
Gary Horne with the Wolfpack Sports Network. Can each of you break down the incredible chemistry that's developed on this team over the last 7 games?
You said all three?
And explain it. Yes, sir.
Okay, DJ Burns, we'll let you lead off.
I don't know. I think it's always been there. I don't think that we treat each other differently now. Everyone else is just paying attention because we're winning, That's what winning does, though. It's always going to seem like you're a little bit closer together when you're winning. And don't get me wrong, we're still building great memories, but I don't think that too many of us, I think we mixed well from the time we got together. I think by November we had a pretty good chemistry going.
Casey?
Yeah, I agree with DJ. We've been very close throughout it all, throughout the good times and the bad. And, just because, the results don't show up on the court doesn't mean we weren't close. It was just trying to figure everything out. There was a lot of new faces, a lot of new people trying to adjust to the program, to the culture, and it took time. And the fact that we're finally starting to click is great, and it's great timing.
And DJ?
Yeah, I disagree with them. Coming in, I felt like from day one, the vibes were always there, on and off the court. And like DJ was saying, you win like how we've been winning anywhere, it's gonna bring anybody closer together. So I think the main thing that we'll take from this is just learning how to win and learning how hard it is to win as a team, so that after it's all said and done with us, we can kind of set the foundation and hopefully keep that here at NC State.
Okay, guys, thanks for spending time with us. Appreciate you being here. We will see you tomorrow after the game, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.